Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fun Friday. Sorry, getting all my assets on the screen there. Welcome to Fun Friday. I'm Brenda from Stamplicity, and today we're going to do a little bit of lawn fun. All right, so we are going to create two cards. And we are going to use two brand new stamp die stencil sets from Lawn Fawn from the summer release. One of them is going to be the Make Lemonade, which is this cute little lemonade stand with the mice. For you lawn fawn people, you know that those mice have been, having quite the adventure in life with doing all the things, and the summer release is making lemonade for these little mice. All right, so we're going to create a fun little card with that, as well as the ever so popular Highland cows. All right, this has been our #1 selling set for this release. We do have a few sets left of the stamp and die. The stamp die and stencil bundle is coming, but I'm going to show you today how easy it is to color these ones. All right, so we're going to color two different ways with these two cards. One, we'll be using the layering stencil, the coloring stencils, to show you how quick and easy it is. All right, so if you are not a person that loves to color, then you're going to love the layering or the coloring stencils from Lawn Fawn. It makes life so much easier. But I'm also going to show you with just my alcohol ink markers, my Olo markers, to show you how quick and simple it is to actually color in these characters. So two cards today, all right, based on the sets from the summer release. Again, this one here, I don't have the stamp sets and die sets here with me, guys. I'm sorry. I did my pre-stamping ahead of time, and then realized I should have them here in front of me, and I don't. So, all right. So, but the name of this is Make Lemonade, and the other one is Highland Cows. All right. You can find them on our website at www.stamplicity.ca. All right. So let's get going. So, like I said, I'm going to do two ways of coloring, and we're going to use the layering stencils and the markers. All right. So why don't we start with the Highland Cows? I'm going to start with the coloring with the Olo markers, because we just have minimal items here to do. So I'm just going to grab my grip mat so I can hold these down while I'm coloring, because I've already stamped and die cut them out. So when I stamped these, I stamped them on just my plain regular white cardstock, my Nina 110-pound cardstock. And I use Memento ink. All right. So, ink, we always get people asking or wanting, coming in, and they just want a black ink. And then we ask them, we're like, well, what are you going to use it for? And they look at us like we have three eyes. And there's a reason why we ask that, because every ink is a little bit different. There's so many black ink stamping inks out there, and every one of them is developed for a certain thing. All right, so with using alcohol ink markers, you want to make sure that the ink that you use is an alcohol ink friendly ink. All right, so my go-to is normally VersaFine Clear when I'm doing any type of sentiments or just outline stamps and such. But I can't use this with my alcohol ink markers, because the alcohol ink markers will run into here. They'll interact with one another. They'll start to bleed, and it's not a good thing. So I use Memento when I know I'm going to be using my Olo markers, or an ink that is alcohol ink friendly. So that's why we always ask, what are you using it for? Because it really does matter. All right. Okay, so I've already, like I said, pre-stamped these and die cut these out. And so we have the two little cows here. We've got the one where we can see the eyes, and one that's got the eyes covered. That's how I feel sometimes when my bangs are a little too long. I have learned my lesson, that do not cut my bangs myself. My hairdresser has told me that many times, because it's more of an issue to fix than it being long. I've tried to fix my bangs and cut them short, and I'm not very good at it. And maybe that's why I'm not a hairdresser. And I own a paper art store. But anyways, but that is how I feel when my bangs are long. And then when I have a trim, that's how I feel. All right. So, all right. So I've just stuck these on my grit sheet, and that's just going to hold them while I color. And like I said, I'm going to use alcohol ink markers. So I will show you the colors for those that have Olo markers and want to replicate this card. So I'm going to start with the little grass tufts. All right. So I know these are tiny, but they do make an impact when you use them. All right. Stamp and die cut them. Now, when I die cut these out, I stamp first, then I tape my die cuts on using the best tape ever from Spellbinders. And this way I know that my dies are not going to move. All right. So that's what I do. All right. So I'm going to start with YG 1.4. All right, for my Olo markers. And I'm just going to apply a little bit of color. Now, this is really simple to color. It's honestly really, it's just, you're just filling in the little grass tufts here. Just go slow, all right? You could use pencil crayons. And this is so small too that if you had water-based markers, you could definitely use them as well. All right, now if you wanted to do shading, all right, you could go one step further to YG 1.6, and I'm just going to kind of do it at the base of these guys and just adding a little of that darker color. I know the camera's pretty far away. I try to get it a little bit closer, but so now I'm just taking my original color and I'm just kind of going over where they meet to help that blend. All right. Very, very easy to do. And if you go outside the lines, all right, I'm just going to show you that. I don't know if that will focus. No. All right. If you go outside the lines, that's where a white paint pen will help. And I'm probably going to use that. All right. So, oh, I forgot the little leaves on the flower. So I'm going to do the flowers real quick. So this one, I'm not going to do any shading. I'm just going to color. All right. So the flower, I'm going to color that as a little yellow flower with a white center. All right. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of that yellow. Easy peasy. Again, you don't need to do shading. I'm not going to do shading on this. All right. I'm going to leave the flower center white on that. Okay. Now let's go ahead and do our Highland cows now. So I have, oh, sorry. The yellow that I used was 2.2. Why 2.2? Okay, so for the Highland cows, I have the O's here. All right, so I have O 4.0, 4.1, 4.3, and 4.6. All right, so they're all in the same color tone family, and so they're going to blend really, really nicely together. So I'm going to start with O 4.0. And I'm going to start with the little horns. All right. That's going to be that color and the hooves. All right. So I'm just going to color them. Really simple to do. These are not, even though the Lawn Fawn characters may be small, they're easy to color. All right. They're not like, there's not a lot of small spaces. Like, you can get in your nib in there nicely to color. All right, so that is done. I'm going to flip it over to 04.1, and I'm going to do, oopsie, I'm going to do I'm going to call it the snout. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and color the snout. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but that's what I'm going to use. And then I might do the ears as well. Why not? Let's do the ears as well. So the snout and the ears. It got quiet. Brenda's coloring. She's concentrating. All right. So snout and ears are done. All right. Super cute. All right. I'm going to leave that marker there. I'm going to flip over to my other ones. All right. So now I'm going to go to 04.3. And I'm going to start with, I'm just wondering, I might, no, we'll just do this. All right. So I'm going to start with kind of the hair. All right. I like to work at one section at a time. So I was going to add a little red to him. I might do that. Let's see what I got here. I'm going to skip a color family here. I'm going to like do, oh, yeah, I'm going to go into, I'm going to grab OR 7.4, and we're going to add a little bit of this color. All right. It's kind of a reddish brown. So I'm going to just kind of put it in the front, kind of his bangs. All right. And then I'm going to go back to my original 04 point or 04.3, and where those two colors kind of met, just going to go over just to help with that blend. And now we're going to get a really kind of nice blend on those bangs. All right. So I'm going to do the same thing with this guy over here. All right. And I'm going to color the whole bangs, and then we'll do our shading, and then I always come back to my original color. That's just how I do it. Some people don't. Some people like just let the blend happen, you know, and what it is, and it is what it is. But I like to kind of help that blend and go back with the original color. So each of these little bang pieces, actually this one here I might darken up a little bit too, so they're not exactly the same. All right, so that is that color. And then I'm going to flip over to 7.6. Oh, that's a chisel tip. That must have been a free one. All right, I'm just going to do a little bit in the tips here. I typically do not like chisel tips, but sometimes when we are in class with Olos, when we get free markers, they give us a variety to try the different tips, and that's why. All right, so now I'm going to go back to my original color and just kind of blend them all together. And now we've got lovely. All right, so our bangs are done on our Highland cows. All right, now we're going to go ahead and do their faces. And I'm going to go back with a 4.3. Okay, and we're going to color their face. And this one here, we're going to go in for shading with 4.6. Now, this normally does not take me this long to color, but because I'm going step by step on video, that's why. All right, so I've just added a little bit of that 4.6, and now I'm going to go back to my original 4.3 and just blend them together. Okay, and I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to do the same thing. You could watercolor these ones. You could use colored pencils. Whatever floats your boat. Everyone has their own kind of coloring medium of choice. If you are a colorist, I like my alcohol ink markers. However, I do like using colored pencils as well, and I don't use them as often as I should. Okay, that is done. Now we're going to do their bodies. Again, we're going to do the 4.3. That's kind of our main color of these Highland cows. Okay, and then we're going to go to 4.6 for shading. And then going back to my original color and just helping that blend. All right, he is done. And let's do our second one, starting with that original color. And then we'll go into our shading with the darker 4.6. And sorry, I just see a little spot there. I just want to add a little color on him. All right. And back to our original color, and let's help that blend. Okay, my little cows are done and they're super cute. All right, so let me just hold these guys up so you can kind of see. Look how cute they are. Oh, it's so sweet. All right, so if you go outside the line, my number one tool is having a white paint pen. And I really like these ones from Art by Marlene. You've seen me use this before. I've got a foam square attached to that one. This is a dual-ended one, so it's got black on one and white on this one. You can find these in a pack of 3 or as individuals, all right? But this is really handy. So if you have gone outside the line, then I can go back and I have a little bit of green that went outside the line here. I can just dab over top of it, and it's going to cover up that whoopsie. All right, so this is my eraser, as I always call it, and that's going to clean it up. All right, I didn't do too bad today. All right, so there is my little guys. Let's put this card together. I'm going to get rid of my grip mat though. Oh, I can leave it there because I'm going to need it for the next card. Okay, so let's put this together. So I've already taken the liberty of cutting my kind of my card fronts here. So I have the new what is this called? Giddy for Gingham. All right, this is the multicolored one in the 12 by 12 pack. All right, so I have this. I cut this at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I just went through my collection and saw, you know, I wanted a fancy kind of rectangle. So this one here is the scallop stitched set from Spellbinders with the bow. I don't have the exact name for that, but I think it's scallop stitched rectangles with bow. And I love this because there's layering components to it. And I love that scallop stitched. I just think it's a really great one. And I use this one over and over again. So I just cut 2 layers from that die. So that die I do have here. I don't have it labeled. All right. So this is what it looks like. All right. There's that great one. And then I've just used the next one down. And the next one down after that's got that stitching detail. And then there's another one that has stitching detail. And then there's a beautiful bell and bow. It came out at Christmas time, but I go to this one all the time as well. Okay, so I'm going to leave this one white, but I want to do a little bit of inking on this one. We want to kind of have a sky and grass line on here. So I'm just going to do a simple blend of ink. And I forgot my big ink brush. Okay, so I'm just gonna flip this. We're gonna do sky and then grass. So I just have my Gina K inks here. I have Jelly Bean Green, and I'm using a big brush on this because I want it light and airy. I don't want it too dark. So I've just picked up some ink, and I'm going to start on the one side. This will be the bottom. I've just flipped it 90 degrees. Our card is actually going to go this way, so I want a strip of green kind of on the bottom. But for blending purposes, I'm just rotating it 90 degrees. I'm going to start off the paper in rotating motions, and I'm going to go about halfway up the panel here. All right. And just do a nice green blend. All right. And this is going to mimic our grass area. Okay. Light and airy. All right. Don't put too much pressure. All right. So you can see I have a nice green blend on there. All right. And then we're going to switch over to a blue. I'm going to clean up this mess here first. And the blue I'm using from Gina K is Ocean Mist. And again, we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to flip mine. So because I'm right-handed, I like to blend from the right-hand side. So I'm going to grab Ocean Mist. I'm going to load up my brush. And we're going to do light rotating, start off. All right. And you're just going to slightly overlap where the green ends. So it just kind of gives you that horizon line. but you want to keep it light and airy. All right, so they kind of blend in the center there. All right, so let me just bring that up. All right, so a really nice blend on that. Just want to clean up my ink. And now we can start putting this together. All right, so because, oh no, because, oh, that looks nice there. Look at that, so. Okay, that's gonna go down flat. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I was gonna round the corners on my pattern paper, but maybe I won't. I'll see how it looks. All right, so let's just center this in the front of my panel here. And I could have popped this up, but our little Highland cows are going to be popped up as well. So I'm going to frame that in. All right, so there is that. And now let's see, do I want to round the corners? No, I think I'm going to keep it. All right. So, but I am going to pop this panel up, but I'll do that after I get my cows on. All right. So we're just going to position our cows. So you want to make sure that their feet are in the green area. All right. So this way they're grounded. And I'm just going to put one slightly higher than the other. All right. It's just that one's a little bit further back. And then we're going to have the little flower in the kind of center. And then we want to leave room for a sentiment there. So then we can take these little grassy pieces. And I like to just kind of, I'm going to just have them kind of in front of some, oh, I lost, oh, there it is. One's going to be behind here. One's going to be in the front. All right, so they just add a little detail in there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put these down. I'm going to pop up my animals though. So, foam adhesives. I thought I had everything ready, but apparently I do not. Okay, so I'm going to stick one foam on the back of my Highland cows. All right, it's a big foam. That should be more than enough. And I put it in the center because, of course, I'm going to be tucking a little grass behind him. So I'm going to do that for both of them. Okay, again, I said I wanted to bring this one down just a little bit, making room for the sentiment. All right, then the floral I'm going to go down flat. And like I said, that's going to be kind of in between these guys. All right, one of these grass, we're going to go kind of behind him. And then this one here, I'm going to put in the front. So I'm actually going to glue it to the cow itself. All right. I could put a foam adhesive on there, but then I'd have to trim one. So I'm just going to kind of glue it right onto his leg. So it looks like he's got that tuft of grass in front of his leg there. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. We're going to just put that a little bit of glue. And I'm going to just attach it right to them. I have set it down just a little bit on both of them. All right, so there we go. Look how cute they are. Oh my gosh. If they don't make you smile. All right, now we're going to do our sentiment. Now, because of his bangs, I think from the, we're going to do long time no see. All right. And I just have some pre-cut banners here that were in my stash. I think this is a part of, one might be a Better Press plate and the other one might be from a Gina K Master Layouts. But I have these ones and they're going to work. So I'm going to I have a little banner that's going to work here with a long time no see. All right, and so for this one here, this is where I'm going to use my VersaFine Clair ink. All right, I love VersaFine Clair when it comes to sentiments, so I am going to just center this on. Sorry, I'm going to stand up so that I can get a bird's eye view on that. Oh, that looks pretty good. Okay, let's do that. So this stamp here comes from the Highland Cow one. And you're probably wondering, well, you said you didn't have the stamp sets there. You are correct. But Lawn Fawn gives us some demo sets, and this is on the demo set. So that's why I don't have the actual stamp sets here. I just have my demo set here, which are not full sets. They give that to us so we can do demos for all of you. All right, so I'm going to just do that again and deepen up that black. I think this is just so clever because of the guy with no bang, or with the bangs covering his eyes. All right, so that's on there nicely. And let's grab that off. And I'm just wondering, you know what? There's a little heart as well. I'm going to do this little heart because why not? All right, there in the stamp set, the Highland Cows, there's also this fun little heart. It's really tiny, but let's do a couple little hearts in the background. And again, I'm going to use Gina K inks for this. So this is called Dusty Pink. So I'm going to stamp a few in the sky area. All right, so, all right, when you're doing something so delicate, you want to be careful how much pressure you put on. All right, so just minimal pressure. It's just like a push down and up. And let's do one over here. Down and up. All right, cute. All right, we used the little guy there. All right, and now we can put our sentiment. And I'm going to pop this one up. There goes my water bottle. I just threw it in the garbage. Not on purpose, by accident. That's why you should not have things on the edge of your table. All right, so now I'm going to place this. We're going to center that underneath those Highland Cows. And then this is going to go on like that. And I like the pink little hearts because now it's picking up those pinks and purples in the background. And this we're going to pop up. So I'm just going to grab my foam adhesive roll and just grab a length. And this one will be done. All right, let's just frame that in. All right, there we go. Long time no see. All right, super sweet, right? Okay, let's move on to our lemonade ones. All right, so I'm just gonna put that to the side. I'll come back to that one. And this time we are going to use the stencils, all right? So the coloring stencils. So if you're not a person that loves to color, then this might be your cup of tea, all right? So let me just tidy up a few things here. All right, so for this one here from the set, I did the lemonade stand and the little mouse with the little ball cap, super cute. We've got the sack of sugar. We've got the little sign, 25 cents a glass. We've got a couple of little singular lemons. And then we also have the lemonade glass. All right, so that is what we are going to be doing in terms of on our card. All right, so we're going to use a layering stencil. So again, I'm using a demo set that Lawn Fawn has given us. When you get the Make Lemonade, there's a specific one that will do all the things for that stamp set. All right, so this one here, like I said, was the layering stencil that Lawn Fawn gave to me to do demos. So this is the one. This is, it says not for resale, demo set. All right, so this is just for us. All right, so now normally I would not have these die cut out. All right. Normally I would have them on the paper, and then I would die cut them after I color them, but I'm doing things a little bit backwards. I honestly, I cut them out and then went, oh, why did I do that? But that's okay. It still works. All right. So don't, if you cut them out, that's fine. You can still use a layering stencil. That's not a big deal. All right. So all right. So we're gonna start with a lemonade stand here. And it fits on there so perfectly. All right, like honestly, it lines up so well. Now I am using my grip mat, but I don't want this to move around, so I am going to tack this down just a little better. It's just with the pizza tape. Okay, so I'm going to start with salted caramel for this one. We kind of wanted that kind of wood effect color. So I'm just going to grab a smaller brush. These are the waffle flower brushes. They're nice for this kind of stencil work. So I am dabbing the excess ink off, so I don't want this too dark. And again, light, flowy, rotating motions. Because this is a smaller brush and the brushes are a little bit more dense on here, they're not going to flow as much. The color is going to go on a little bit darker than a larger brush that flows a little bit more. So just be mindful of that. All right. So just watch your pressure when you are doing kind of more of that kind of light and airy look. So then I'm just picking the ink up from my lid where I tapped off. I will typically always tap off into my lid rather than on my work surface because that ink doesn't dry on there. And then if I wanted to do watercoloring, I could use my water brush and pick that ink up, or as I'm doing today, and picking up the ink with the brush to keep my, inking to a minimal, or the amount of ink I'm applying to a minimal. All right, so there is the first layer. I'm going to remove this and take a look. Perfect coloring. So if you don't like using alcohol ink markers, you don't like using pencil crayons, or just the art of coloring with a medium, then maybe the coloring stencils are going to be your thing. All right, now we're going to do the bottom half here. So this one here, you're just going to line up. All right, so it's so easy. Easy, easy, easy. Okay, so this one here, I'm going to use the same color, but it might go a little stronger now. All right, so it's just like it's that one I went a little bit stronger. Oh, that's a lot stronger. I might have to go back and just add a little bit more to my first stencil. All right, let me just pull that off. Yeah, I went a little strong on that one. So here's the beauty of these stencils. Now I can go back and I can layer this back on, and now I can do a little bit more deeper to match up my whoopsie. All right. So I'm going to just deepen it up a little bit around the edges. Okay. All right. Let's see how that. All right, that looks much better. The little shading. All right, so didn't want it that dark, but that worked. Okay, I'm going to clean off my stencil just really quick because I do have a lot of brown ink on there. So because I'm using just regular water-based dye inks, water will be fine, but I am using rubbing alcohol just because I want this stencil to dry really quickly. And that's what I did. All right, so then what do we have? We have the little lemonade stand here, I'm going to just do a light bit of yellow on there. All right. So I'm using Daffodil from the 49er Market. And we want to go light on this, Brenda, not like before. All right. Very, very light. I might just do a little bit of shading at the ends. And when I shade, I'm using the same color and just going a little bit deeper on the ends. All right. So I'm kind of like pulling it from the end to the center. All right. And now we can pull that. And now we've got that lovely little shading on there. All right. Our lemonade stand is done. Look how awesome that looks. Love, love, love. All right, next. Let's continue with yellow. We have our little lemons. Lemons have two parts to them, believe it or not. We have the leaf and the lemon part. So there are two. I'm just going to get these lined up. And honestly, I don't have to tape these down. I'm going to just line that up. Pick up some of that yellow. And this one I'm going to go a little bit deeper because lemons are a nice yellow. All right, that's it. Look at perfect coloring. Love it. This is what I love about these stencils. And honestly, we always, I always say get the stencil, even though you love coloring, it just gives it a different look when you use ink. All right. So I always say just get the stencil, all right, when you are doing it, just because then it gives you options. All right. Now the leaf is so tiny that I don't even think I need any ink on my brush because I'm sure there's still ink left on there from my last project. So I'm just going to go in and color the leaf. All right. And it's so easy. I don't need to tape my stencil down. I'm just going to hold it in place, give it a little swirl with my brush, and it's done. Done like dinner. All right. Lemons are done. Oh, I forgot my lemonade. Let's do lemonade. All right. So lemonade is got, oh, it's got lots. This one has 4 stencils on this one, guys. 4. All right, so I'm going to start with the lemonade part. All right, even though there's ice cubes in there. Again, I'm going to use my yellow brush. There's probably enough ink on there. We just want a little bit of a light yellow tinge to that, the color of lemonade. Okay, so just a light tinge. I know you can't even see that, but there is. You can see, there we go. All right, then we're going to do the ice cubes next. All right, so I'm just going to line that up. This one here, I'm going to use blue. Honestly, there's probably enough ink on my brush here. So I am going to all right, now our ice cubes are colored in there. I'll bring this up when I'm all done. Then we have the top of the glass. So we want to just have a little bit of a light blue tinge to that. So again, there's probably enough ink on my brush. We're just going to keep it light and airy. And then we have the lemon slice. So again, this one here, I'm not going to re-ink. I'm just going to use what's on here. This one here, I'm going to go a little bit darker than what we did in the glass. I might need ink. That one seems to be not. So I'm just going to pick up what's in my lid. All right, that is enough. All right, oh, super cute. Oop. All right, so there is my little lemonade. All right, so cute. Done. Okay, now we have, I'm going to give this a little wipe. All right, we have the mouse, we have the sugar, and we have 25 cents a glass. All right, the 25 cents a glass. Let's do that next. And there's no stencil for this one here, but I do want to just give it a little bit. You know what? We're not going to do anything with that. No, we're just going to leave it as that. Okay, this sugar sack. Do we have one for that? Oh, no. You know what? It's on the other stencil. Ha, ha, ha. All right, sorry. Back to the 25 cents a glass. I do want to give it just a little bit of age. All right, so I'm going to grab my brown brush and just do a little bit shading on there. I just want to dirty it up. All right, dirty it up. It's just a little bit on there. All right, the sugar sack. All right, so we're going to do the main, and let's do this in blue. And I am going to grab my Frosty here. And again, I'm just going to use what's in my lid here. So that'll be enough. All right. Light coating. All right. And then we have the label. So I'm going to just switch this to the label now. And this one here, I'm going to do it in brown. Again, I'm going to just use what's on my brush. All right, there. And last but not least, a little mousey. Okay, so let's do his main body. All right, so this one here, I'm going to use, I thought I had a gray, but maybe I put it away. Okay, we're going to do cappuccino. Now, this one here, I really want light. Actually, you know what? I'm going to see if there's, I think there's enough gray on my brush here that I'm just going to use the gray brush and whatever ink I have left on it. That was enough. I didn't need to use the cappuccino. All right, so he's colored gray now. We're going to use, do his little belly. And that I'm going to do in a soft pink. Actually, yeah. Again, I'm not going to worry about what's on my brush. I'm just going to use. And then the inside of his ears and his nose is next. So we're just going to line that up. Oh my God, he's so cute. All right, and now his hat. So the hat you can do in all different colors. I'm just going to do it in blue just to make it easier. But because it's got the stripes on there, there is a stencil for each of the stripes. And I'm going to use Ocean Mist, I think, from Gina K here, just because I do have it. So the only thing with working with the stencils is that you always got to make sure you keep your, I mean, they're pretty much spaced apart, but you just want to make sure that you're not going in onto another area by mistake. So always kind of double check your work. And a little piece on the top there. I mean, they think of everything. And these line up so fabulous. That one we went a little bit darker. Beautiful. Okay, all our pieces are now colored. So we have our, let me just clean up my mess here. All right, so we have our lemonade stand, we have our little mouse, and then all the little extras. And now let's put this one together. So either or, I mean, coloring with markers, coloring with stencils, I love them both. I don't know which one I prefer because they're different looks. So, okay, for this one here, for the card base, I've used the Giddy Up, Giddy for Gingham in the green, which is the sandwiches color. And then I have the same die cut I used for this one. We've done a white stitched frame. Then I did a yellow, and then the next one down, I did it. And this is the Blissful Blossoms in the marigold. All right, so we're just going to layer these together. I thought this this yellow floral made a nice background because it's not too bold. So we're just going to frame that in as best we can. Okay, this is going to be a portrait style. All right, so we're going to do that. All right, so I'm just going to lay out my elements here. So we're going to have a lemonade stand. We're going to have this little guy kind of in the front. We're going to have the sugar. I want to make room for a sentiment at the bottom here too. So I want to make sure everything's pushed up enough. The sugar sack is going to be there. 25 cents a glass, the little signage. We're going to have the little glass of lemonade. And we're going to have the lemon on there, and maybe we should have another little lemon down here. All right, so you can see building up that scenery, super fun and super easy, and that's going to give us room for a lovely little sentiment here. And I think I'm going to stamp right on the panel here. So I'm going to just move this, and we're going to stamp that pretty close to the bottom. All right, so let's get this in our stamp platform here. And for this one here, wishing you the best day ever. That sounds like fun. So we're going to do this in 2 little rows here. So I'm going to get that one. All right, I need my nudger tool. They're sticking together. Let's get day down first. Cat hair on there, not good. Now, I probably should do one at a time and then pick it up with the lid, but you know, I'm stubborn that way. So I'm just going to use my little nudger tool. And for those that are wondering what a nudger tool is, this is a set from Spellbinders, and I love this just because of this tool. It does come with all, it comes with the tweezers, the black tweezers I was using, and these guys here. So one is the gem picker upper, all right. One is the paper piercer, and then one is a nudging tool, which I use for better press and for getting stamps lined up like I did. I just find these cling stamps will always stick to my finger. The nudging tool is like a silicone and it doesn't fit. So if you don't have that tool set, it is a great addition to your tools. Okay, that looks pretty darn good. We're going to commit. All right, I'm just going to use black ink. Again, I'm using VersaFine Clear. That is my go-to of stamping inks. Again, do not push too hard. You don't want to give it CPR. All right, you can always go over it again if you need to build up the black, which I do. Everything's stamped really well except the wishing, and get a true black on there. Beautiful. Okay, I will take that off in a bit and clean it. All right, so there is that. Let's go ahead and put our little elements on here. And I think I'm going to pop everything up, but for this one here, I'm going to use the thinner foam adhesives because I'm going to pop up everything on here. So I don't want it to have too much bulk. So I have the thinner foam adhesives. These are half the height. All right, so these are the regular ones, and then these are the thinner ones. So you can kind of see. All right, so we're going to start with the lemonade stand because that's what's in the background. And we're going to center this left to right, and then I'm going to kind of push it towards the top. That looks good there. All right. All right, now this little guy here is going to kind of stand in front. All right, so I'm going to use the thinner foam adhesives, and I'm going to keep those foam adhesives to the left-hand side because that's where it's going to hit the lemonade stand. All right, and we're just going to drop it down just a bit. All right, there is that. We're going to do the same thing with the sugar. Again, this one is going to be closer to the right-hand side because that's where it's going to hit the lemonade stand. So it's going to be kind of just sitting in front of it. And then we're going to have a little lemon. And For this one here, I'm just going to use a half of foam adhesive. Again, this is a thin one, and I'm just going to put it where I want the lemon to be. I think it's just easier to place it, the foam adhesive, and then stick the lemon on. All right, so that's going to go down here. Okay, so there is that so far. Cute, cute. All right, then we have our 25 cents a glass. Again, I'm going to take my foam adhesive and stick it on the lemonade stand where I want the sign. It's just easier for placement. And we're going to put that at a bit of an angle. Cute. Okay, then we're going to do our little glass of lemonade. Now I'm going to use a full size or full thickness on this one because I want this to really kind of stand above the lemonade stand. So I'm going to put that on this side just to balance things out. All right. And then last but not least, I'm going to do a little lemonade over on here. And this one's going to be a thin one again. And we're going to put that right over there. All right, how cute is that? Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to now attach that. All right, I think I'll do the same thing. I'm going to glue this onto the white, and then we're going to pop the white up. Foam tape. All right, and we'll frame this on the green. Oopsie. Oh my gosh, I love that green with that yellow. So cute. All right, now to finish this one off, I'm going to use a little bit of glazing glue. I always love using glazing glue just to accent things. So I want to accent the lemons, the glass, just to make them shiny. All right, so and let's do the lemon. And I'm going to do the lemonade sign. So when you're using glaze and glue, don't be stingy. Create a puddle, and I will outline whatever I am doing and then fill in. So you want to have a cloudy puddle, and you don't want no gaps, or it will self-level out, but it will remain within the parameters of your outline. And I think that's it. All right, so we're going to allow that to dry because that's on there pretty thick, and that's going to become nice and shiny. All right, so there is that. You know what? I'm going to grab my cows and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do their little horns. All right, super cute. All right, so that is 2 little cards with Lawn Fawn, a little Lawn Fawn fun, as I call it, with the Highland cows and the make lemonade set. So let me just bring these back down so you can kind of get a good look at them. Once they're dry, I'll take a good picture of them, and then I'll post them later on today But how cute are those? All right. So just showing you the brand new Lawn Fawn release, the Highland Cows. All right. And those ones we use alcohol ink markers to color. Really simple to do. And then we have the Make Lemonade set that we use the coloring stencils to show you how you can use your inks to color that. All right. So that is it for Fun Friday for me. Thanks for joining us live and on the replay. We appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions about any of the products or the techniques we use, please contact us at Stamplicity Paper Arts. You can contact us via Messenger on Facebook, or you can contact us from our website at www.stamplicity.ca. All right, everyone, until next time, have yourself a creative day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.